Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar showcasing some of the careers currently available in Mott MacDonald. Over the next 45 minutes to an hour or so, we'll be sharing some of the opportunities available in the function of project controls. My name is Lee Geddes, and I'm a commercial manager at Mott MacDonald. I'm responsible for the commercial performance of our portfolios in the north of England, which includes principal offices in Newcastle, in York, Leeds and Sheffield, Manchester, Altrincham and Liverpool. But please note, we have opportunities across the country, not just in the north. Now, when I say project controls, I mean the broader sense of the term. Of course, we're looking for experienced project controllers, but the opportunities are by no means limited to this. We include planners and document controllers, and of course, we need assistants. These are who can develop their skills, learn their craft, and become the project controllers of the future. So within these roles, we believe that diversity of mind brings opportunities. So we look for a potential staff, a range of backgrounds, and hopefully our speakers today will help to demonstrate that. We're delighted to see that so many people have been able to join the call. Please remember that we're not accomplished TV presenters or program producers, but we're very keen to share the type of work we deliver, as well as our company culture and ethos with you. So if we get any technical glitches or gremlins, please do bear with us. So the plan for this session is that I'll give you a bit of an overview about our purpose as Mott MacDonald. My colleague Nikki joined the business in September 2021. She's based in Newcastle, and she will give you an overview of her initial experience. Noemi joined our front of house team in Leeds office and will describe the opportunities she's taken on her journey to becoming a project controller in our Bristol office. Andy is a project manager and a project controls team leader in our Norwich office. Andy joined the business in 2012 as an accountant, and he's also got a varied path to his current role. I'll then talk through some of the skills and characteristics we look for in candidates, and our colleague Laura will talk you through how you could apply for some of the roles of interest. All our speakers today will be available at the end of the presentation to answer questions. Please post your question in the chat function, and even if you don't have a question yourself, you can link those questions that have already been posted, and that will help us to prioritise the most popular. And then my colleague Rob will take us through those questions, and he'll try to raise them in order of popularity. Just present a slide on our purpose.
Why are we here?
What inspires and motivates us in what we do every day?
We've always been driven by a passion to make people's lives better. Right back to our founders 120 years ago, who pioneered access to clean, plentiful water supplies and developed public transport, making it easier for people to live and work in cities. That spirit lives on in our purpose today.
To improve society by considering social outcomes in everything we do, relentlessly focusing on excellence and digital innovation, transforming our clients' businesses, our communities, and employee opportunities.
As a matter of principle, we believe nobody should be disadvantaged, and we know from experience that inclusive projects deliver the best results for everyone, our clients too.
That's why social outcomes, accessibility, inclusion, empowerment, resilience, and well-being are at the heart of our purpose.
At Mott MacDonald, we use the breadth of our expertise to see the connections between the projects we're helping to deliver and the world around them. How the infrastructure, services, the natural environment, businesses and people work together to maximise the benefit for all.
This is where digital innovation comes to the fore. Combined with deep subject knowledge, our digital skill set helps us, our clients, and partners to address old challenges better and solve new ones. To see problems and possibilities more clearly, to be more agile, efficient, and effective.
It's all powered by relentless focus on excellence. Excellent people, systems, and technology all supporting innovation and creative solutions. All centered on improving society.
That's why we're here.
So I'd like to talk about our purpose. Our purpose is central to everything that we do, and on this slide, we're just simply going to break it down into its core components. Over the last couple of years, we've placed a great deal of effort and much emphasis on educating employees across the globe. Now, that's in the UK, in Australia, India, Middle East, China, Canada, and the US, so that they understand that they have a part to play in delivering our purpose. At Mott MacDonald, we want to be clear and straightforward about why we are here, what we stand for, and how we do business. Our core focus is to improve society by considering social outcomes in everything that we do. We place a relentless focus on excellence and digital innovation, ensuring that the clients and our internal clients receive the best advice and that we can leave a legacy that lasts long beyond our involvement. And finally, we want to transform our communities and our clients' businesses and the communities they're located in, whilst giving our employees the best prospects and opportunities to develop and progress. One key message we'll try to get across today is just how much control you have over your career. We're an employee-owned organisation of over 16,000 staff across every continent in the world. The possibilities are endless, and all of our staff share in our success. So moving forward, I am going to hand over to Nikki.
Thank you. Hello, my name's Nikki. I'm a project controller here at Mott MacDonald. I've only been working with the company for about 2 months, so not very long at all. Excuse me. However, previously, before I joined Mott MacDonald, I was in a completely different industry. For the last 10 years, was a PGA professional golfer, teaching people how to play golf in both the UK and the Middle East. Obviously, a far cry from supporting projects in the northeast of England. But the team at Mott MacDonald's were fantastic in that I applied for the role and they looked through my CV and were able to highlight exactly where my transferable skills were and how that applied to the role I was applying for, but also if there was any other roles within the team that actually I might be that might be suited to myself, and they offered these over to see if I was interested. Right now, I'm working across the transport sector, supporting projects in change controls, resource management, improving processes. The list is endless. But it's a really, really exciting time to join the project controls team at this moment in time, because we're a growing team and it feels like there's a lot of opportunities. And when I wanted to join Mott MacDonald, I looked at it as it's a larger company than I'd previously been at, and I found that there must be more opportunities and a better career path for me to follow. And I've certainly found that within my first 2 months, there's definitely ringing true. I've already had career development meetings within the team, within the role. I can already see different pathways that if I did choose to specialise in a certain area, a certain subject within the project, that is absolutely supported, and they'll push you all the way and help you achieve that, which is obviously fantastic. When you join McDonald's, you get assigned a buddy, which I can't explain how good it is, because you've always got somebody to go to ask them questions. The most important, obviously, being where's the best place to go for lunch, but also through to the more technical questions, whether it be on where do I find the stationery in the office, how does my computer work, anything, as many questions as you can imagine. But it's really helpful, because if you don't feel comfortable or confident to ask the first person you see within the office, you know you've always got a go-to person, and that's not just in the first week, that's for as long as it takes until you get used to being around your team and around the other members in the office. So for me, it's been fantastic. The first 2 months have really, the reason why I wanted to join McDonald's, they've really fulfilled that. They've really given me clear direction and give me lots of opportunity, and also it gets me excited about what could possibly come up in the future and where my career is going to go. So that's all for me. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass you over to Noemi now, who's going to explain her career path. Thanks.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Noemi. I work as a project controller in Bristol, and I have been working for the company for just over 3 years now. My early career years were not as straightforward. I studied management at university, and during my uni years, I worked as a travel agent. After I graduated, I worked as an accountant, moved to the UK in 2014, and I started working in quality assurance. But the career was just wasn't feeling right for me. So I decided to change in 2018. But I wasn't sure what I want to do. I wanted to work for a company who represented me, my values, and helped me to find the career which is right for me. I started my career in Leeds as a front of house officer. After 3 months, I joined the admin team supporting project management. And due to some personal reasons, last year, January, I relocated to Bristol, where I started working as an assistant project controller. All the relocation costs were covered by the company. And this summer, after a successful Prince 2 practitioner exam, I was promoted to a project controller. And Mott MacDonald funded my Prince 2 practitioner course, and also they funded my AMP PMQ qualification. So why did I choose to become a project controller? I believe a good project controller is one who challenges the way things work and wants to know why it works that way. Being curious, sometimes asking foolish questions rather than education or career experience is what truly sets people apart. Thanks to my years of experience, I learned a lot of skills which were transferable, and also I'm a curious person. I always have something to ask. So the position of a project controller is a perfect fit for me. Currently, I am working on projects across multiple sectors, and I'm part of a multidisciplinary team. My days are never the same. I'm learning something new every single day. I mainly work on Defense and Environment Agency flood defense project. I support 6 project managers. I feel privileged working on the biggest project we have done in Bristol, which keeps me very busy, sometimes challenging, and requires to think outside of the box. And I have an incredible opportunity to work with the BNI executive on an internal, professional, and technical excellence project. And this will be very different than delivering projects to the clients, and I'm very looking forward to it. My primary role is to work closely with project managers to ensure that all budgeting, scheduling, change control, and coordination processes run smoothly. The applications I use are Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Projects, Primavera 6, and at the moment I'm learning how to generate fancy reports in Power BI. And also we have our internal system, which is called Connect Business, that I use for budgeting and resourcing. So why I'm staying with Mott MacDonald? In very short, you can be whoever you want to be at Mott MacDonald. And I have a great opportunity to work with people with different experiences. And they have a positive impact in my life, career-wise and also personal-wise. Every day brings a different experience. I am working with some amazing people who have a lot of knowledge to share, and our motto is sharing is caring. The working environment is agile and flexible. Due to some personal reasons, I moved back to Romania for 8 months last year to be with my family, and I have had excellent support and assistance from the HR, my line manager, and all my colleagues. Now, as life has returned to some kind of normal, we can still work from home and we don't have to feel pressure to come back to the office. We have quarterly meetings with our line managers to review and set up new goals, to discuss the support and development we need to demonstrate excellence and performance at our best. We have a sports and social committee who organizes trip, theater, and other events, and Friday night drinks, so it's very easy to make new friends. And thank you for listening. I would like to hand over to Andy now.
Great, thank you very much, Naomi. My name is Andy White, and I'm based in the Norwich office of Mott MacDonald, currently acting as the Project Controls Area Lead within the Buildings and Infrastructure Unit, and I've almost been here for 10 years now, so I'm kind of part of the furniture. Originally, my ambition was to become a chartered management accountant. So once I had completed my degree in accounting and finance, I was keen to merge both the accounting side with the business management side in a non-accounting firm. And MOTS gave me that platform to be able to move, develop, and grow. So what am I currently working on? Collectively, we have around 240 projects within my buildings and infrastructure division, for which I'm responsible for the commercial success of around 90 projects. This may be supporting them in change controls, reviewing contracts, or providing advice and guidance on our internal financial system. But essentially, we are here as the foundation to support the commercial successful delivery of our projects. Additionally, as well, I manage our EDF nuclear new build framework with relation to the Hinkley Point C and the Sizewell C building projects, acting as the focal point for all things procurement and commercial. In terms of what attracted me to Mott MacDonald, honestly, the initial draw was actually its reach. So I'm always quite keen to learn new skills and develop my knowledge. Therefore, I saw Mott MacDonald as being an organisation that would allow me to grow and develop. Now, during my almost 10-year career, I've gone a completely different direction to what I thought I would, and that's been through the support provided by Mott MacDonald in terms of my line management and also the development programs. So having been here for quite some time, one of the best points, as I said, is the flexibility. As like myself, I know plenty of other people that I've diversified or changed roles or departments within the company to allow them to grow and develop. In terms of what I believe it takes to be part of project controls, it's a real variety of skills, and that for me is the joy of it. You know, patience, time management, conflict management, problem solving, these are all good examples, but ultimately we are the calm in the storm. We are the structure amongst the chaos and the foundation for successfully delivering projects. And for me, that variety within such a multifaceted organization is one of the reasons I really love working for Mott MacDonald. Next slide, please. So in terms of my career path, while I've only been with Mott MacDonald since graduating, it's been quite the journey. Originally, I was providing accounting and finance support to our Norwich office, supporting the project managers in invoicing and budgeting. However, I've always been a bit curious to ask a little bit more and to broaden my knowledge. So during 2016, the Norwich office was running an APM 5-day crash course for the PMQ qualification, which is a gateway qualification into project management. And at this point, I was halfway through my chartered management accounting course and not really enjoying it. So I sat down with my line manager and our subdivisional manager and basically said that I wanted to develop into something new. And as part of this, we agreed that I would go on this course and actually move away from accounting and more into the project management. After gaining the initial APM qualification, I was then promoted to project manager and moved into delivering projects and managing some of our client frameworks. So during those 2 years, I worked on a wide range and complexity of projects, from a 16-kilometre trunk road here in Norwich to a local council office refurbishment, as well as supporting the commercial success at a divisional level as well. 2018, however, was the start of something new, whereby we created a project controls team for which we've been supporting our 433 person strong division, with my role as the project controls area lead covering our Norwich, Glasgow, Southampton and Brighton office in a team of 5. Last year, I also further progressed my APM qualification to become a member of the APM, and I'm currently working towards my next step as a fully chartered project manager. All of this has been fully supported and funded by Mott MacDonald, accompanied by internal support groups that they have for those that are on similar things such as APM or Prince. Why do I enjoy my role and why am I still here? Well, I've been here for 10 years, so I must enjoy it. Ultimately, for me, it comes down to the variety and challenge. Every day brings about a new challenge. As an example, last year I was one of 90 staff in the UK responsible for delivering training on our new financial system, Connect Business, as part of the UK rollout. This would have been an incredibly challenging time on top of my normal day-to-day role, but then actually delivering it during a pandemic over Zoom brought about lots of technical and personal issues that made it incredibly difficult, but actually it was really rewarding. And now, personally, I'm seen as the go-to guy super user within our division. All of this wouldn't have been possible without the support of my line manager, who saw it would be a difficult time, but then put things in place to make sure that I was supported and I could develop in that. That then brings me to my other point about people. So as ever, they are fundamental to enjoying the workplace you're in. And as Naomi mentioned, we have all of these sports and social things that actually help you interact with people. But ultimately, for me, it's all about people within the organization, all from different backgrounds and skill sets. That's always insightful. It allows you to develop your knowledge and broaden your horizons. And for example, I've learned much more about ecological constraints of projects and even going out newt surveying on projects where they've been a bit short. So we all learn new skills. And finally, Mott MacDonald has always supported me in developing my knowledge and skill set, especially as what I would class a non-engineer with a very engineer-heavy division. I've always personally felt like a bit of a square peg in a round hole. However, my confidence has been built around developing my weaknesses of lack of engineering knowledges into strengths through the project controls. And at that point, I'll hand over to Lee.
Thanks, Andy, and to Noemi and to Nikki as well. So hopefully you've seen three of our speakers today talk about how they've come through various different routes to their current career. And not to be outdone, I thought I would share a little bit about mine as well. I've been with the business 20 years. I started as an undergraduate with a HND in civil engineering, and then the company sponsored me to complete my degree in 2002. Since then, I've worked on projects across Yorkshire, Humberside, Nottinghamshire, Teesside, as well as further afield. And there's no finer feeling than having accomplished a project that you know is going to leave a positive legacy for your community. And I worked on major infrastructure projects all across the UK. And my roles have included structural engineer, civil engineer, and then a project manager and technical advisor. I'm still learning something new every day. And even though I took on this role in 2020 as commercial manager, that's still the case. Either we're developing up a new service or a new innovation. It's a great company to work for. It has some fantastic offices and a really inclusive culture. And there are opportunities for everyone to grow their careers. So the slide that we're showing currently is about skills. And we try to distill some of those key skills and attributes. And this slide shows some of the words that we find ourselves using when we're describing our document control colleagues, project control colleagues. Our document controllers, planners and project controllers sometimes operate across a portfolio of smaller projects, but they can also work alongside and support our technical project leaders to manage the financial performance of a really complex project. Whichever it is, they're providing invaluable support and advice and guidance, and they have a really important role to play on our projects, and that's highly valued by the project teams. There are so many facets to project control, and we find that our staff become highly knowledgeable about one or more particular aspect. So again, whilst we mould our project managers to be really well-rounded and skilled in all aspects of project control, it's far from expected that everyone will join us and that they will be an expert or will even have an interest in all the aspects of project control. So what we also recognise is that the skills on screen, we've given them different fonts and colours and sizes, but actually they change on a day-to-day. So whilst communication might be emphasised on screen, there'll be other skills throughout the project life cycle that come to the fore. So if your skill isn't up there at the top of the list in the biggest font, don't be afraid to apply for a role. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Laura.
Thank you, Lee. Following on nicely, hi everyone, I'm Laura. I work within our talent acquisition team here at Motts, and I've been with the company for just over 3 years now. So as Lee mentioned, just on to the application process and how to actually apply for an internal post within Mott MacDonald. So when it comes to searching for a role, if you're looking on our internal careers page and you find that you can't find the level or grade or even specialism that you're looking for, and may not feel comfortable necessarily formally applying to a vacancy yet and would like an informal discussion, then please do feel free to reach out to either myself or someone within the talent acquisition team, or alternatively just drop a connection request on LinkedIn and I will follow up with a call with you. So what we need from you in terms of the application, so the application form is very user-friendly, desktop and mobile friendly, and it's very self-explanatory once you find yourself in it. A covering letter is optional, which I will come on to slightly later. And for more information around our early careers vacancies, please just search Mott MacDonald graduate in an online search engine engineer, and it should come up for you. It is worth noting at this point that you don't need to discuss your application with your line manager. It's only until the point that you reach an interview stage that you will need to have that conversation internally. So all conversations at this point are completely confidential and discreet. So top tips. I've got a few tips that I wanted to share with you today from a recruiter's perspective. So tailor your CV to each vacancy that you apply for. I try and avoid generic sort of catch-all CVs, as the recruiter will be looking to utilise the essential and desirable skills criteria on the candidate specification when reviewing your application. As I mentioned before, cover letters are really good tools to support your application. Again, completely optional, it's not mandatory at all, but it is a very good tool to support your application. So within that segment, you can explain where you came across the vacancy, add detail as to the reasons why you're interested in the role, as well as any additional relevant information to support your application, which may not necessarily appear within your CV. For example, extracurricular activities that may be relevant for the industry you're applying for. I provide as much detail as you possibly can within your CV without making it too wordy. The more detail that you can provide to the recruiter, the better. There's a free text box option within the application form where you can physically type out qualitative and quantitative details rather than just a yes or no tick box application. Feel free to contact the recruiter contact to discuss the requirements and the vacancy in more detail if you want to. Within the job description itself, the recruiter contact will always be at the bottom right-hand panel of the vacancy within our careers page. So that contact will always be there. But again, if you have any troubles accessing it or need any information at all, just give me a shout. If your CV is reviewed and isn't quite suitable for the particular vacancy that you're applying for, please do rest assured that the talent acquisition coordinator reviewing your CV will also consider you for other opportunities across the wider business. We would never send your CV on to a hiring manager or another unit without discussing it with you first. So please don't think that by submitting your CV, it's going to be sprayed and prayed across the business. I can assure you it won't. But it could be a case that you may not necessarily have the right level of skills and criteria for one particular role, but you could be suitable for something very similar within a different portfolio, for example. So please do rest assured that by submitting your application, you will be considered across the wider business. So what happens once you have submitted that application? So the relevant TA coordinator will endeavour to review your application. We say between sort of 24 to 48 hours we'll come back to you, and this will either be via email or via telephone call. But again, please do feel free to contact me or give me a call if you want a confidential conversation in advance or want to follow up on what's going on with your application. So now back over to Lee to close out with any questions.
Thank you, Laura. I'm going to be joined by my colleague Rob. He's going to field some of the questions as they come forward. But as Laura says, we've arrived at that point where we're looking for you to raise any questions in the chat function. We'll answer them as best we can. Any other information you might like to know that you've not already heard, please do ask it. And if necessary, we'll share those answers around our speakers as well. Hopefully our speakers have given you a good opportunity, good overview of the opportunities that are available in the business at the moment.
Thanks, Lee. Doesn't look like we've got any questions at the minute, but there is some questions that we get asked quite a lot. So Laura, this one will be for you. So there are people who are probably outside the UK and are wondering about visa sponsorship. Do we look for people who aren't from the UK? Laura?
Sorry, my camera doesn't seem to be working. Absolutely. So we do endeavour to provide equality and fairness for all of our applications, and we do strongly consider applications from overseas. It may be a case that if the individual doesn't meet the role requirements, they'll be treated exactly the same as everybody else, whether they're internal or external. But 100% we do offer visa sponsorships and we'll welcome applications overseas.
Perfect. Thank you. And I think Calvin, I think that answers your question. We do, as Laura said, we do take candidates from overseas. Perfect. Lee, so I have one for you. I'm a relative newbie. So what best advice would you give for new people starting at Mott MacDonald?
Right. I think if you are wanting to apply and you are new to your career, I think it's absolutely key. Get your CV in, get a covering letter in to kind of explain your situation. One of my colleagues made a statement in one of these previous webinars about project management, which is you miss 100% of the goals you don't go for. So, if you don't apply, there's no way that we can consider you for that. But Nikki, I wonder whether you could maybe share a little about your new start.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously exactly what you've just said. I had a complete career change. And to me, I didn't realize how easy it was going to be with McDonald and the way that they looked at my CV. So absolutely, if you feel that McDonald is the right company for you, definitely put your CV in, because they do take the time, and that's exactly how I felt, that they take the time to look and they welcome you with open arms. Yeah, as a new starter, it's quite daunting. It's very different now compared to how it was 2 years ago, before COVID and everything. And so it's a great opportunity to use all the tools that they've got, the buddy system they've got, and there's a lot of training, on different aspects of your job, on how the office works and things like that. So just where you can, just take it with both hands. Ask as many questions as you can. There's always people willing to answer, and always people. You're not the first person who's asked the question, believe me. So, ask all the questions and just revel in it. Try, you're in this new opportunity, in this new career path. So, take your time and just enjoy everything.
Great. Thanks, Nikki. So we do have a question from Darlington. So Lee, this one might be a good one for you.
Okay.
Was impressed with the presenters working with the project control team who didn't initially have the project control or planning experience. What opportunities are available for making a transition from other backgrounds into project control? I have applied for the role in the past, but didn't get a favourable response.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Darlington. It's great, really great question. I can't. I'm not sure I can speak into that particular application itself, but it may have been that if there was a role advertised and there was a response to that, then there would have been a sifting process for candidates, with the shortlist of the most appropriate people then being carried forward for an interview, and then maybe just one person selected from that list if there was just one opportunity available. So, like I say, I can't speak specifically to that, but certainly there may have been circumstances that influenced that. By all means, I suggest that you pop your CV back to us. I think earlier in the year we started the process in the northeast, certainly, where we were looking for new staff, but we'd limited it to a relatively small number because we needed the ability to be able to train those people. So we've obviously made those appointments. Those people have been enrolled, and we are now continuing to do that, and that will be the same across the business.
Thanks, Lee. And I'm really sorry if I mispronounce this name, Safluk. To add to Donita's question, what qualities stand out in the hiring process?
Okay, yeah, another great question. I think the key thing, as Laura mentioned, within each job description and requisition that we raise and put out into the public domain, there will be some key criteria that we're expecting to see, and there'll also be some desirable criteria that we'd like people to meet as well. So obviously, provided that you can meet those criteria, I would echo Laura's comments about tailoring your CV to try to make sure that each one of those is shown that you've got some experience of already, and also to use the covering letter as well to kind of describe your interest in that particular situation. If maybe you don't hit one of the key essential criteria, or the criteria that are nice to have, then and having an interest in that area and a willingness to develop and learn more about that is always great to see and to hear.
Thanks, Lee. Laura, I think we've got one for you from Sanjay. So where would be the I think you've already answered it in the chat with the best external best opportunity. Yeah, You read it.
Yeah, I think I jumped the gun on that one. Yeah, really good question, and it's a very similar process to our internal process. It's just an external web page rather than utilising Compass. Exactly the same step by step. It'll be the same application form. So I would just advise the external parties applying to positions again to just reach out to the recruiter contact within the job adverts themselves for any questions.
Thank you. Awesome. So Lee, I think in this day and age, I think if we talk about Mott MacDonald and their agile working policy, I think if you want to highlight what we can do for any new candidate.
Yeah, of course. So we look at I suppose agile in maybe one or two different caps on. We have an agility and we have flexibility. So with we're able to support candidates certainly who are returning to work, maybe from a career break. We're able to provide people with the technology that they can work from various locations. So if, for example, you have family commitments, or you want to work maybe only a part week, maybe 2, 3, 4 days instead of a full week, we can accommodate that. We can accommodate people working from home part of the week, and also from the offices. Our most recent kind of request from the MD is that we try to work a minimum of 8 days from an office. We are a hugely teams-based business, and we love to be in each other's company, and the benefits that we get by being there face to face and just hearing each other's conversations and learning are you couldn't put parameters on them. They're just boundless. So that element's really important. But by no means is anybody going to come and say you must work from an office 5 days a week. My own personal view is that I would choose to work from an office, and I will work at home when it suits me to do so. If I've got a lot of reading to do or a lot of concentration to do. Agility, so from flexibility as well, we can look at different working patterns for a day if you wanted to work a part day, or as I mentioned, maybe just part time with full days. So much of that gets discussed and can be explored through the interview process as well. And even if you started as a full-time employee, you still have the ability to agree with your line manager at the time any deviations to that. So we won't hold you to an initial agreement. Of course, we would like to, we want to hang on to our staff. We want to give them the opportunities that suit them, and to help them grow in their careers rather than pin them down to work in set patterns.
Excellent. Then I think I have one more question. I think this is for everybody who's presented today. And what is your highlight when you've been working for Mott MacDonald so far? Does anybody want to?
We had a team night out in Newcastle on Tuesday night, and we should have put this one forward and come up with a pre-agreed answer.
I agree. Team night out, Newcastle.
Noemi, have you got one you would like to share?
Yes, I think just working with amazing people, and I meet here so many friends, and I get from my colleagues, I get support, work support, but also support in my personal life, and I feel that that's very important.
Good. Andy, anything from you?
I would probably say in our division, it was probably actually the fact that the project controls team was formed in itself, because typically there's sometimes a mentality of a project manager is the be all end all and does everything themselves, and actually what we noticed in our division was actually that is causing stress for some people, and actually it's not the right way to do it. Sometimes you need to get the right person on the right activity, and sometimes an engineer is a very good engineer, but then some of their skill set doesn't match some of the project management. So actually the fact that we formed a team in our division, and then that's kind of being mapped across other divisions now, is probably something that's always been quite good for me in our division. We've always been seen to kind of blazing a path, as it's used. And obviously working with you last year on Connect Business, Lee. I'll throw that one in there.
You're all smooth talky, you.
There you go.
Nikki?
I was just going to say as well, not only obviously the team now in Newcastle, but for me, one of the highlights from a personal point of view is actually feeling like I'm growing in confidence since the day I started. And a lot of that has been very much from the support of people around me, whether they be very, very senior, whether they be the team around me or people I don't work with, but are in the office. And so, yeah, that's been a real highlight for myself to feel that I'm definitely growing in confidence.
And I'm not sure I could pick something out from 20 years ago, but I'll do the most recent one, which was in the Northeast team, which I am responsible for. I came into role in March 2020, and there wasn't a project controls team. So we took quite some time kind of planning around that, and we made the jump in June this year to set the team up, and we've gone from 0 members of staff to 7 straight away. We have got a new starter arriving with us on Monday, a chap called Adi Kunle. So it should be great, a new addition to the team. And the way that team has gelled and learned and is acting as a centre of gravity. So before, all the work that they did was just done by our project teams, and what we've been able to do is kind of suck in that those elements of project control to the team, keeping 7 people extremely busy and needing to grow straight away. You know, so hence the reason for this webinar, and that will be repeated across the country, not just in our northeast division. Sorry, our northern division. Yeah. Any more questions, Rob, or should I wrap up?
I think if you wrap up now.
Okay, I've got a couple of points, a couple of fillers, just in case there were no questions. But so hopefully, Nikki and Noemi and Andy have shown that we've all had different career paths, some even a little slightly convoluted. But I really think that helps to demonstrate that every individual's career path in Mott MacDonald has been, and it will be, unique to them. They are fully in charge, but it also demonstrates just how flexible Mott MacDonald can be in accommodating people's aspirations without introducing any limitations and boundaries on the opportunities that are out there. So one last point to emphasise for me is that we've focused on project controls here, but there are a huge number of careers on our website. If you don't see something, if this isn't for you, but you still would like to be come to work for Mott MacDonald as a business, please don't be put off. Have a look around on the website, see if there's anything that does suit, and then as Laura said, if a CV and a covering letter to the talent acquisition team, they could try to find a role that you may well fit in. So we've got this huge range of opportunities, and we look for transferable skills, particularly in the project controls team. The diversity of thought and of backgrounds just brings so many opportunities to the business, and we can use that, and we can support training to our staff and the new candidates to learn these new skills. If there's no more questions, I'd just like to thank everybody that's spoken and the team in the background as well. So Anne-Marie, well done. Thank you for running this webinar. Thank you to everybody that's attended. Let's end the webinar there. Have a lovely Thursday afternoon.